Hello! Today we are reviewing the 2025 movie, Drop.
Hi everybody! Welcome to the best channel on YouTube, because it has me, Little Red!
Drop is a suspense thriller that stars Megan Fahey and Brandon Sklenar.
This video contains spoilers.
Drop opens on Megan's character, whose name is Violet, waking up on the floor. She has cuts on her face. It's obvious that she was knocked out, and she crawls across the floor and is pursued by an assailant who holds her at gunpoint and then gives her the gun and tells her to shoot him. It then cuts to a scene in the daytime where she is in front of a computer. She is a therapist doing a talk therapy session with a woman who is a DV survivor. After the session is done, a little remote control car drives up to her and she pulls off a note that says, "Come find me," in a child's handwriting. She searches through the house, finds her son, and they play. It is obvious she is a very attentive and loving mother. Her sister then arrives at the house to babysit the son, Toby, while Violet goes on a first date with a man she met online. Her sister helps her get dressed and talks her into going, even though Violet is very nervous and doesn't want to leave Toby alone. Violet then goes to the restaurant, which is at the top of a high-rise in the middle of the city. She gets there and gets a text from her date saying he is running a little late. On her way into the restaurant, she bumps into a man who bears a resemblance to the assaulter from the opening scene. When he bumps into her, she drops her phone. She then goes up to the bar and orders a drink from the bartender, who is a very kind woman. The man playing the piano at the bar comes over and hits on her, but she requests the song Baby Shark, implying that she has a kid, and the man loses interest and walks away. She then talks to an older gentleman who asks what her name is. He is trying to find his blind date. They commiserate a little bit about how awkward first dates can be, and then his date arrives and he walks away. Her date, Henry, then shows up at the bar. He's very cute, he's very friendly, and they hit it off. They have great banter as they go to their table, and then she starts getting messages on her phone. At first, they are vaguely threatening memes, and they get more sinister. She shows them to Henry, who tries to find the location of the person sending these drops, but they can't figure out who it is. She then gets a message saying, "Check your security cameras." She looks at the feed on her phone and sees a masked gunman in her house. She gets a message saying if she tells anybody, her son will be unalived. She freaks out and goes to the bathroom. She tries to get help from some girls in the bathroom, but she is unsuccessful. The person obviously can see what she is doing and also can see the activity that she is performing on her phone. She tries to play it cool to Henry and fake it through the date. The waiter comes over, and he also bears a resemblance to the man from the beginning. They do a good job in this movie of finding a bunch of guys who look very similar. It's like the 8th season of Love is Blind in this movie. Henry is a photographer who brought his camera into the restaurant so it wouldn't be stolen, and the message tells her to get the SD card out of his camera. She pretends to have lost her watch and asks Henry to go up to the bar to ask if anybody turned it in, and while he is gone, she manages to get the SD card out of the camera. She then excuses herself from the table to go find her watch in the bathroom, where she smashes the SD card and flushes it down the toilet per the messenger's instructions. She then gets a message telling her to look in the paper towel rack. She finds a vial and she is instructed to poison Henry. She says she can't do that, but she goes back to the table to kind of try and see if she can figure a way out. The piano man starts playing Baby Shark for her and smiles at her. So she takes out a $20 bill, and on the back in lipstick under the table she writes hostages and her address and gives it to the waiter to give to the piano man. He takes the money, he sees the message, he's about to make a call, and then he puts his phone down. He looks in distress, but he takes a drink and soon he falls to the ground. Henry rushes over to help the man. He gets up and staggers to the elevator, and a message comes in saying he won't make it to the floor, implying that he had been poisoned. Then we see the masked assailant in Violet's house attack her sister and lock her son in his bedroom. Violet feels pressure. She makes up an excuse to order shots for Henry and her, and while he is away, she dumps the vial in his drink. Henry comes back, they start to do the shots, but Violet then freaks out, dumps his wine on his lap, and he puts the shot down without taking it. He goes to the bathroom to clean up, and she gets up to look around to see if she can figure it out. She ends up figuring out that the man who was on the blind date is the man sending her the message, and she confronts him. He tells her that he is there to set her up for the murder of Henry. He has been hired to off Henry so he can't expose the mayor's embezzlement. While she's confronting the blind date man, he gets his dessert delivered to his table, and then Henry comes over to tell her that it's just not seeming to work out this night. Maybe they can try again some other night. He's still very sweet, he's very kind, and she talks him into doing the shot. They watch as he takes the shot and he walks back to his table. The blind date man then proceeds to eat his dessert and gloat about how he is so much smarter than Violet and how he orchestrated his plan so perfectly. When he is just about done with his dessert, Violet then reveals that she never actually poisoned the shot. She waited until the man was distracted watching Henry take the shot, and she poured the poison into his dessert. The blind date man then freaks out and stands up, pulling a gun on Violet, and goes to shoot her, but Henry pushes her out of the way, taking the bullet himself. Violet and the blind date man end up getting into a scuffle while he tries to unalive her. A window in the restaurant ends up getting blown out, and the blind date man falls through the window to his death. Violet is hanging on by a tablecloth, and Henry pulls her to safety. She then helps put pressure on Henry's wound and helps him call for help, and then Henry gives her his car keys to go to her house to rescue her son and her sister. While Violet drives to her house, the masked man inside the house is attacking Violet's sister and Violet's son. The sister ends up getting shot, but Toby hides, and the masked assailant gets distracted by Violet arriving at the house. She makes it home very quickly. I'm not sure if that actually adds up. Violet and the masked assailant get into a fight, and in the fight, he loses the gun. However, he still gets the upper hand. He has her cornered. It looks like things are over until the remote control car from the beginning drives up to Violet holding the gun. She grabs the gun and shoots the assailant, saving herself. She looks over, and Toby had driven the car over to her. She picks him up, she hugs him. The sister comes up, and she is shot in the shoulder, but she is okay, and everything looks like it's going to be fine. The ending scene shows Violet visiting Henry in the hospital. She asks him if he would be willing to go on another date with her. He says yes. He asks her what she would like to do, and she says, "Let's do something boring." And he says that sounds perfect. I really liked this movie. I had a good time watching it. I know in my recent review of the top 3 trailers, I kind of made fun of the trailer, but this movie was actually really good. It probably rivals Novocaine for my second favorite movie of the year. It has such a sweet romance story underneath the suspense, and it stays in the realm of plausible for most of the movie. I really didn't feel like it went off the rails too bad. Maybe the last ending fight scene was a little bit over the top, with people getting sucked out the window, people getting shot but surviving. That might have been a little out of the realm of realism, but all in all, I feel like the movie stayed pretty grounded. You do get most of the plot in the trailer, but I felt like there was enough that it made the movie worth watching. I didn't feel like I had seen the whole movie just because I had seen the trailer. The banter and the chemistry between Violet and Henry is really fun. They just seem like they would be a really sweet match. You really root for them to be together in the end. And I know the movie had a happy ending, which is unique for a horror or suspense thriller, but I felt like in this movie it really worked. You have the tension through the whole movie of the son being in danger, how Violet's gonna get out of this situation, and once she does, it's really nice to just root for her to be happy. So if you're skeptical about Blumhouse films, if you're skeptical that this movie wouldn't have anything new to offer, I think you should go watch it. I think you'll be pleasantly surprised. Anyway, that's all I have for now. Thank you so much for watching. I hope I see you next time. Until then, take care of yourself and drink water. Bye-bye.
Subscribe!